It's not about motivation. Winners need discipline. Wake up and win today. Discipline comes from within.
Boxing King Media in association with Box Raw. Johnny Nelson, thank you for your time on this Saturday afternoon. How are you? Got Bob Marley playing in the background?
I've just been doing my food prep, so yeah, this is how I like to spend most of my days, just chilling, cooking. Best time to find me.
Good stuff, man. We'll jump straight into it, Johnny. And I'm here because obviously your name's been in the media limelight again. You know, last time it was Tyson Fury, but this time it's Anthony Joshua, and obviously he's fighting next in a couple of weeks' time. So I thought it'd be a good time to catch up with you. You will have seen the interview that Eddie Hearn did a few days ago, where I think it was put to him about some comments you made, yourself, Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver. And I think he in short, his reply was that they're all haters. So the first question is, Johnny, why do people think you're a hater now?
Number one, I think the way the question was posed to Eddie, of course he's going to come out fighting. And usually if you take things out of context that are said, then straight away, I can understand it, why he'd come out the way he came out. But he should know better than that. He knows that's not me. One thing I am, last, is a hater. Two, in regards to how he chose to reply of the he said, she said, you know, there's nothing wrong in what I said. You know, and in this game, you know, unfortunately, what happens is when people have an opinion, you're supposed to be hate. That means you must hate on the other person if your opinion doesn't match what everybody's saying. Now, in regards to what I said about this fight being made, I said, me, if I was in that situation and I was at it, I won't take this fight. Risk reward doesn't weigh up. Yes, you know what? Fact is, these men are getting paid ridiculous money. So the risk is you know, the reward is great financially. So if it's about the dough, good shout, good move. If it's not about the dough and it's about the bigger picture after this, then you look at risk reward, and what I'm saying is right. God forbid the worst thing happened and AJ lost to Ngannou. Then the bigger reward, apart from this big reward for this fight, the big reward after that doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen straight away, and it could have a detrimental effect on AJ, because if you're a fighter, and it doesn't matter what anybody says, if you're a fighter, if I was AJ, and I went out there and I lost to somebody like Ngannou, a man that shouldn't have a chance, how am I going to get my head around that thinking, how am I going to justify it? Is it this? Is my boots were too big, or it was too hot, or this man said this, or this fool did something? No excuse is going to make you put you at peace with it. Now, risks have to be taken. If you want glory, risks have to be taken. I understand that. But as I said, risk reward doesn't weigh up. And this is one of those fights where they're in touching distance. He's in touching distance of fighting either Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk again after this fight. And that's a big payday. If you're talking money, it's a big fight. If you're talking dough, accidents happen, mistakes happen, bad days happen in boxing. So why give a man a chance that shouldn't have one? That's all I'm saying.
But the counter argument to that is, no matter who Anthony Joshua fights now, whether it's Hrgovic and the potential opponents, wouldn't every single one of them be a risk at this stage? Because obviously heavyweight boxing,
without a doubt. And you looked at Ngannou, and again, if you're going to get turned, if it does happen, that risk does happen, you'd like it to be one of the top 10 fighters in the world, rather than the guy that's in his second professional fight, because you can somehow justify it in your head. How can you possibly justify something like that in your head? I understand, yeah, you know what, I want glory, I want to take the risk, I understand it. But all gamblers win and all gamblers lose. You know, and that's all I was saying. Risk reward doesn't weigh up. I spoke to Dewey Cooper, Ngannou's trainer, yesterday. He's actually a nice guy, man. He's a cool guy. And he said a line, and I smiled. I said, boxing is now a business disguising itself as a sport. So you've got the sportsman in AJ, who's a businessman, but he wants to be successful at boxing. And you've got the businessman, Eddie Hearn, who's doing his business, doing his job. I think Eddie Hearn's the best at doing his job. He's great at doing his job. And so when I hear stuff that's said, I smile. I went, go on, Eddie. You know, you're kicking it back. He's got a new target. It's no longer Frank, because Frank's his mate. So he's got a new target. And so I get that. I see it. He's talking about agendas. He's talking about company men. Great lines, great headline grabbing lines. Again, I'm a grown-ass man. I got kids. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, nobody's telling me what I should and shouldn't say. No butters at the sky telling me you can't say that, you can't say this. No Tyson Fury, no Anthony Joshua, no Eddie Hearn, no Frank Warren's telling me you can't say this, you can't say that. And because I am that guy, because I'm happy to sit down and stand up, or should I say stand up and say, no, this is what I'm saying, this is my truth, this is how I see it. All of a sudden you want to do a character assassination. Don't work like that. You know what I mean? If you want yes men around you telling you what you want to hear, that's what you do. I'm not a yes man. This is my opinion. Nobody said I can't say anything. Nobody said, if anything, they probably want me to pipe down. If anything, this is my opinion. I'm a former world champion. Regardless of what caliber you think of champion I was, I'm one of the most experienced pundits on TV talking about boxing. Both sides of it. I've seen the good and I've seen the bad of our sport. All these guys that are working in boxing, I've worked with them or around them at some point. So I've been on both sides of the fence. So you tell me who's more qualified outside of that circle to actually have an opinion. Now, so if I'm talking crap, it's my kind of crap, but I'm qualified to talk my kind of crap.
He did say also that he felt that yourself, Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver were the biggest haters out there. And I think I'm assuming that's from obviously a lot of the comments you may have made about Anthony Joshua. But so from your point of view, how do you kind of explain that you're not being a hater? You're basically just saying what you think. How do you explain that?
I laugh at that. I'm like, me and Anthony Joshua here. And again, if they're giving information out of context, of course they're going to think Nelson the hater. I'm quite sure. I think one time we were out in Saudi and AJ was fighting, and out of a million positives I said, the one thing that was picked up was if AJ lost, and there was that comment. So AJ's thinking, "What? I thought we were cool, man. All of a sudden, this is what I'm assuming he's thinking. All of a sudden, you're talking about me losing, and that wasn't the context. I'm not an AJ hater. I'm not an Eddie Hearn hater. I'm actually a fan of both these guys because they're good at their job. They do the job. If you ask me an opinion, I'll give you an opinion. I'm not on your payroll, so I'm not going to say, yo, this is what I'm going to say to stay sweet with you. I'm saying you how it is. So I'm not, unfortunately, they don't like what I'm saying. Unfortunately, Eddie doesn't like what I'm saying or doesn't suit what I'm saying. But if he's giving it in that context, I understand the response. But I don't care if you like it or not. Everybody has an opinion. If it's a personal attack, then I understand it really hurt. This isn't a personal attack. This is an observation of what you're seeing, and that's all it is. And so people are making a bigger deal of it and trying to spin it how well they can. I think, as I said, Eddie's got a new target now. It's not Frank. It's either me, Simon Jordan, Spencer, or Sky. And I just smile.
What is? Could it be a case of because I know this has been put out there as well. I don't know if Eddie said this, but I've seen this in comments that because AJ is now not fighting on Sky, he's fighting. Well, technically, he's going to fight on Sky in a few weeks. Funnily enough, but obviously he's technically a DAZN fighter, and obviously prior to that, when he was on Sky, the comments seemed like they were mainly positive. Is there an element of that at all where when, say, for example, he was a sole Sky fighter and you obviously...
So you tell me this. So me saying AJ wins hands down, day and night, it's a done deal. The last thing I expect is AJ to lose. Is that not positive or is it negative? Or is it a way I put it together? If I'm asked a question, if the worst case scenario would happen, I'm answering it. It's not hating. If I was asked that and AJ was still with Sky, I'd still answer it exactly the same. In fact, when he was boxing in Saudi, and I said worst case scenario if AJ lost, he was with Sky then. So I'm trying to figure out at what point are you saying, well, it's because he was Sky, or now he's not with Sky, he's saying X, Y, Z. I've always been an AJ fan. I love his rise. I love what he's done to British boxing. I love everything about what he's achieved. But if you ask me a question, even about you, even about Eddie, people I like, if you ask me a question, I'm either not going to answer it or I'm going to answer it. We're in a situation now, we've come to sit down and talk and answer questions. So I'm not going to say I'm not answering that, otherwise there's no point you come to my house. It's a conversation. And people are trying to twist it like it's some personal or personal agenda or some business agenda that Sky have put you up to it. Sky haven't put me up to any of this. Sky's a big machine. This is foolishness as far as I think, as far as they're concerned. They ain't got any involved in this.
He did actually also say that as well. He said that he felt obviously Sky people at Sky have been told not to push any of his events.
Rubbish. What a load of rubbish. What a load of foolishness. Eddie, if you're going to say that, all right, promote your event more so people know it's on. How about that? You do your job. You promote your event more so people know your job, so we can talk about it. You know, you've got shows left, right, and centre. Even your own platform, you're promoting every fight that's going because you've got to put up your platform so everybody knows who the zone are. It's rubbish. You know, it's scaremongering, it's tittle-tattle, it's proper and utter foolishness. Those conversations are never, ever been had. That is proper foolishness.
The other side of it, obviously where you was referred to as a company man, and I've seen it's a common trend in a lot of the comments now. People are liking this side of you where you're kind of saying, basically it's a bit like the Carl Froch, Dominic Ingle effect, where you guys are just saying what you think and you're not really caring. But was there an element before you know, because it seems like there's been a change. What's changed? Because I don't feel like you was always like this.
What's changed? The change is this. You can't do good. You can't do, whatever you do, you're getting a hard time. Do if it's good or bad. The change is this. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm 57 years old. I've seen every side almost of our sport going. And you're getting people that have never put a glove on trying to tell me or talk down to me or make out as though they're more intelligent than me about getting in the ring, getting punched in the face. So I'm the idiot for actually letting that happen. So I'm like, nah, that's not the case. Why am I succumbing to your foolishness when you've never done what I've done? None of them, man, can ever translate what happens when you get in the ring, when you put gloves on. None of them can. They can translate what it is as a promoter or as a manager or whatever. So therefore, I'm like standing my ground. This is who I am. Carl Froch's box. You know, he knows. You know, he has an opinion. And so when fighters are together, we have conversations that most promoters or managers be thinking, oh my God, you can't say that. There's a code, there's a conversation that you can have when you've done it. I was one of those people, so I get it. I get the conversation. I get the mindset. I get all of that. I'm not one of these people that have read a book and I can remember that. So I'm a genius. I'm an expert. So therefore, you've got to listen to me. It's silly. It doesn't matter what you think of what I say. I've done it. I've been there. I've achieved it. It doesn't matter what caliber you think I've been at. I've done it. I've achieved it. I've been there. So why would I succumb to somebody that's never done it and let them tell me something that I think is foolishness, is rubbish? I won't do it. So the change is maybe I've just grown up. Maybe that, I don't know, but it gets to a point where you think, Jesus, the lunatics have taken over the asylum. What's going on here? So you got to talk.
Well, I've noticed you definitely have gained more fans. I don't know if you've noticed that out of this new Johnny Nelson. But you know, when say if we go back a few years, was it ever an element of, because I asked Spencer Fear on this yesterday from his days in commentating, when you're commentating, are you ever given an agenda to kind of push the home fighter, so it's kind of, so the public are kind of narrated, no matter what's happening, the home fighter's doing well?
When you're in this job, you're asked to give your opinion of a fighter. If a fighter messes up, there's very different ways of saying he messed up. You know, so there's no way I'm going to tell you someone was good when they were bad. I can't do that, no matter who they're with, if it's a Sky fighter or not. There's never an agenda saying you can't say X, Y, Z. It's just how it is. You can't do that. And I want somebody to pick out one of those times that I've done that, and they were Sky fighters. You know, one to pick it out. You can't pick it out because I don't do it, because I've got to sleep at night. You know what I mean? And the truth always comes out, because you'll pull me up a year later and say you said X, Y, Z. And now and again I'll say something silly just to set the cat amongst the pigeon. I'll have a little joke with myself. That's me. But most of the time, you know, this company man line, I actually find it funny. I actually find it, because the people that believe that don't know me. So if you don't know me, why would I take it personal? It's just how it is.
He also suggested that Sky are not pushing the events for the zone are putting on. For example, Josh Taylor, Jack Cattrall announced recently he felt like there was nothing from Sky, but he's saying when Sky have got fights and the zone are reporting on everything. Is that fair? And is there a reason behind that?
I don't understand. So Eddie is with the zone. Why is he complaining that Sky aren't pushing his business? You know, that's his business. Why is he complaining about that? It's his job to promote his shows, to promote his fights. But you're upset that nobody else, your opposition or someone that's in the same business isn't doing it for you, but we do it for you. You know, so I don't get that. If you're going to go and start up your own shop across the road, you can't come back to my shop and say, why aren't you telling people to come to my shop and buy over there? You know, it don't make sense. So why are you looking across the road? Concentrate on your own business. That's what you do. If DAZN is saying DAZN or we're promoting every single fight, of course you are, because you want to be seen everywhere and anywhere. That's what you've got to do. You've got to do what Sky did in the first place. You've got to get yourself ingrained into people's mindset. You've got to be great at your job. You've got to make the mistakes, and you've got to live from your mistakes and build yourself up. That's what you've got to do. You can't complain that people aren't doing your job for you. That's what he's complaining about. What's it sound like he's complaining about? It don't make sense.
Like I say, it's an interesting debate, and I'm pretty sure you guys will probably come face to face next week, because I assume that you're going across to Saudi to to do the presenting for Sky.
So far, unless they get me banned, but I like Eddie. I do. I really like him. I've known Eddie since he was 11 years old, and I like the balls he's got. I like the way his energy for this job. One day he'll be in Timbuktu, next day he's in Mexico, next day he's in Bradford. This guy's a grafter. I like everything about him, but please, I'll not be hustled by his brilliance, because you're good at your job and I'm good at my job. You know, so there's nothing wrong with that. So I've got nothing against Eddie. I think he's good at what he does.
I might even title this video that Johnny Nelson likes Eddie Hearn's balls and his hustle. You said it. Just the last thing, Adam Azim, Dalton Smith, a big cross-promotional fight. We've not really heard nothing from Boxer, or and Adam's put a few tweets out, but I'm not sure if it's him that's doing that. But Eddie's basically said he's happy for the fight to happen on Sky Sports, and he'll cover the money side of things. What do you think will happen in that situation?
So what you say publicly and what you do privately are two different things. We've seen that in the past with, I don't know, Tyson and AJ. You know, things are said publicly, but things don't happen privately. So this was said publicly by Eddie, and you know what? I think it's a great fight. I don't know what happens in the boardroom. I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but if it is what it is, he says it is, and it's exactly what it is, then I'd love to see the fight. I'm quite sure many people would love to see a fight. I think it's a great fight. And so then he's left the ball officially in Ben's court to say what then. You know, sort of to Ben how he deals with it. Yeah, but he stays quiet and not say anything, or he makes a decision and has to stand behind that decision he makes.
What do you think that decision will be?
You know what? If I was him, I'd do it. I'd do it. I don't know what plans he's got for Adam. I don't know what agenda he has for Adam. But to me, this solidifies his position here over this side of the world. If he gets through that fight, it's a great fight. These are fights, you know, we're in a position now where the public are getting the fights they want, slowly but surely. And again, you know, Boxer put on some amazing shows. You know, we got Cornbrook, you know, we got Smith, Eubank, we can go on, you can go on. And so far we've put 2 shows on this year, which are contenders for Fight of the Year already. I can't see why Boxer wouldn't do it. 31st of March is another wicked show. I can't see why they wouldn't do it. But you know, I am not Ben's business. I'm not Sky's business. You know, I just go out there and report on what I see. I'd love to see the fight. So let's see how it rolls.
I was going to wrap up the Eddie Hearn questions about the fact that he said that he felt Anthony Joshua saved your job, saved his job, saved everyone's job. Yeah. Did Anthony Joshua keep everyone in the job? Because he obviously has done a lot for British boxing.
I was around a long time before Anthony Joshua jumped on Sky. So great line. And I think Anthony Joshua's done amazing for British boxing, getting the casuals to pay attention, to look at it, the profile, the money fighters are getting paid. I think Anthony Joshua, that's a lot of it. That's down to Anthony Joshua and his appeal, and I get that. But he didn't save my job. You know, you don't run Sky. Sky's a big machine, and I think Eddie just saying that tongue in cheek, and I understand why. You know, if he's saying that, he's more or saying the world of boxing starts and stops with Anthony Joshua. It didn't, and it doesn't.
Last question. Who is the 3rd biggest name in British boxing after Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua? Because I spoke to Tunde Ajayi and he reeled off all these numbers to me about Anthony Yard, and the numbers were impressive. I've checked him out. They were all legit. He has done big numbers on YouTube. But then obviously if you look at social media followings, Conor Benn's got bigger numbers. And people have said Chris Eubank Jr. could also be the 3rd biggest name. But in Johnny Nelson's opinion, who is it?
So it's how you look at it. So you've got to look at the true power behind the throne. And the reason why Conor, his name is constantly being thrown about, because he's got a great promoter behind him. and pushing him out there and doing a job with it. And regardless of what scandal is following Conor, he's got a good man behind him in Eddie. If Anthony Yard had somebody like Eddie behind him, no disrespect to the man that's behind him at the moment, then Anthony Yard would have all the hullabaloo, all the highlights, all the noise behind him. I think, you know, one suits the other, and I think Eddie's probably, like it or not, sorry Ben, I think Eddie is probably one of the most colourful promoters in the world, and if you're a fighter under his wing, he does a great job. But in the long run, you've got to think of how active has Conor been, and how he's still in the headlines, how he's kept him in the headlines still. But as a fighter, you want to be fighting, you want to be busy. So there's a business, it's show business, and Eddie's doing the business side of it. I think Anthony Yards, he's getting the show out there. He's doing a great job. Anthony Yards can fight. He needs that platform for people to say, look at me, this is what I can do. So if those numbers are right, and you say they're right from Tundi, why is his name not on the tongue of the same people that shout about Conor Ben or Eubank? You know, so that isn't about the fighter. It's about the fighters, the people behind him, the people building them up, the guys that are supposed to be doing their job and building up the fighter. It's not a slant on the fighter itself, because I think Anthony Yard's a wicked fighter. It's the people behind him. They've got to do their job. Conor Ben's got somebody behind him that does his job. That's it. So Anthony Yard, your information might be right, but the people behind you are clearly not doing their job. Because you're right. You're right. From looking at his stats, looking at the numbers, he should be the third most popular, biggest name out there. But because you don't tell me that don't mean it's true. He's just got to make sure he's got the right.
Who do you think it is?
Who do I think it is?
If somebody said to you, who's going to take British boxing forward after Fury and AJ are gone, who do you think it would be?
I don't know, because we've got so much talent coming through. We've got so many characters coming through. You look at Ben Whittaker. Look at the boy. And no matter what you say, yes, he's with Sky, but come on. Who is the most colourful fighter out there? You know what I mean? Look at where he is. Look at what he's not even British champion. Look at, you tell me, you find me one British fighter that is that colourful, in and out the ring. And that's not just because he's a Sky fighter, because if he was with DAZN or TNT, it's got to be Ben Whittaker. I've seen this before. I've seen it. It's the reincarnation. I've seen it before. I saw Naz being the same guy. You know, you either love him or loathe him. You think, damn it. He's so slowly but surely, you're seeing the emergence of a big ball of fire coming through. So you're asking me that. That's where I'd look at.
Interesting thoughts there, Johnny. Appreciate your time. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
See you inside there.
See you there. Thank you.
I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you towards your goals.